So let's take a look at some fascinating maps. This map shows ethnicity in Romania, with Romanians being in blue and a large area of Hungarians being in red, which makes sense considering Romania used to look like this. Gone are the days of Alaska being tucked away in the corner of map. This map features the glorious gargantuan state of Alaska with the measly lower 48 and Hawaii in the bottom corner. Both Koreans sure do love their glorious supreme leader Kim Jong-un. I mean, how else could he win 100% of the vote in this election? The Niger, Nile, Indus, Ganges, Mekong, Pearl, Yangtze, Yellow, Hai-He, and Amur rivers are responsible for 95% of the world's ocean plastic pollution. In fact, the Yangtze River alone is responsible for the majority of that pollution. Here are the old streets of Prague in the Czech Republic compared to the new grid streets of the Toronto area in Canada. This is what the Earth looks like when it's wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere. This map features the United Kingdom in the center, which is something you're probably used to. So instead, here is the world map centered on Buenos Aires, Argentina. Why not? Better yet, here it is centered on Kiwiland. Here are passenger railway networks in Europe, Southeast Asia, North America, and Australia. Never have I been so proud to be an American. This is the world map divided into blocks of 1 million people. India and China are packing, while Canada is as flat as a pancake and Russia looks like Croatia. I was personally amazed at just how many people live in Nigeria. Here are the real sizes of countries without distortion. As you can see, Greenland and Russia look much smaller than usual, and Africa is quite a bit bigger. These are the countries Russia has added to its unfriendly countries list. Here's the complete list if you're wondering. This is Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the entire solar system located on Mars. Here it is compared to France, and here it is compared to Poland. This is the population density of the world, with practically no one living in the Sahara Desert, Siberia, most of Canada, and Australia. This is the ugly Jerry typeface, which has letters shaped like gerrymandered districts in the United States. This is what gerrymandering is if you don't know. These are all of the countries with military bases in Africa. Looks like everybody wants a piece of Djibouti. These are the only countries that have drinkable tap water. This is what the world map looked like over 100 years ago in 1908. The Philippines were under American control, China was still the Qing dynasty, the Soviet Union didn't even exist yet, and Canada was just a British colony. These are tribal lands in Arizona compared to the state's voting results in the 2020 presidential election. This is the Korean Peninsula at night, with North Korea in the north and South Korea in the south. I know, who saw that coming? This little dot is the North Korean capital Pyongyang, and this cluster of light is the South Korean capital Seoul. Here is a map of India, except it's not India, it's the Midwestern state of Indiana. Yeah, I don't know, man. Belgium has a distinct language divide. Southern Belgium speaks French, Northern Belgium speaks Dutch, and this small part of the country speaks German. These are the commuter regions of the United States. Looks like Detroit of all places has the largest sprawl. This is a map of the entire United States, which technically stretches into Asia because of its territory. This map shows the population of Scandinavia, with Helsinki, Stockholm, Oslo, and Copenhagen being clearly visible, and northern Scandinavia being a bit empty. I wonder why that is. This map shows Europe in 1799 when it united Italy and Germany didn't exist. Ireland was still controlled by the British, and the Russian and Ottoman empires were still kicking. If you thought that was crazy, this is what Europe looked like in 1444. Thankfully, they simplified it so we don't have to remember so many countries today. This map shows the countries that use the metric system versus those that don't. In America, we use the freedom system. This map shows irreligiousness around the world, with darker countries being less religious and lighter ones being more religious. The difference between Africa and Europe and East Asia is pretty amazing. This is a map of major American cities by GDP per capita, with San Jose and the Bay Area having the highest GDP per capita, and San Bernardino having the lowest on the list. This aerial view shows the effect of a drought in Morocco, with its lush green land dying and turning brown after a year. This map shows the distribution of Hispanics in the United States, with southern counties in Puerto Rico easily having the most. This map shows the path of a swimmer crossing the English Channel in between the UK and France. These maps show the travel advisories of various countries around the world. Here are the US's advisories. Here are China's, Russia's, Canada's, France's, Germany's, Poland's, and South Korea. This legend made a geographically accurate map of Scotland by traveling the country and collecting rocks. Shout out to him, man, because this map absolutely rocks. No? Okay, here is the United States, and every state was shaped like Colorado. Why? I don't know. This map shows us the true sizes of the continent. Greenland doesn't look so tough anymore, does it? This is what the world looked like according to Google Street View in 2023. Not so sure what Germany had against Google. The Indian state of Uttar Pradesh has more people than all of the green areas on this map combined. Budapest, the capital of Hungary, is home to over 1.7 million people, meaning it has a greater population than all of the American states in red. Every geography fan knows Antarctica, Greenland, North Korea, and Western Sahara are the four horsemen of no data. This map shows Australia's travel advisories for Europe, with the government telling citizens to not visit Russia, Ukraine, or Belarus. I wonder why that is. Here you can see the number of skyscrapers in every country, with Africa having surprisingly few of them. This map shows the strength of passports around the world, with the green countries having the strongest passports and the red countries having the weakest. This group of unsuspecting chicken nuggets looks pretty familiar for some reason. Sairam Lake in China is the furthest point from an ocean anywhere on Earth. This population density map of France shows just how many people have chosen to call Paris home. In case you didn't know, Texas is an absolute gargantuan of a state, with all of the areas in red being closer to Texas than both ends of Texas are from each other. In case you ever wondered, this is what the Roman Empire would look like placed over the United States. We probably shouldn't do this though, as I imagine a few people would probably get injured. The countries in blue are considered to be developed economies, while the countries in red are still considered to be developing economies. This is what Antarctica looks like versus what it would look like without any ice. Behold the great empire of Long Florida. For the sake of the world, I will do everything in my power to prevent them. This map shows North America and countries with the most comparable climate. For example, Mexico's climate is similar to that of India, the Northeast is similar to Japan, and Florida is similar to a particular island. Turkey's capital, Istanbul, is home to over 15 million people, meaning it has more people than all of the countries here shown in red. This map shows the entire economic activity of the United States split into two equal halves. It's amazing just how much of it comes from the Northeast megalopolis. New Zealand is even crazier, with over half of its GDP coming from Auckland, Wellington, and Christchurch alone. This map shows European cloud cover by country, and unsurprisingly, the more north you go, the more clouds you get. This map shows the origins of currency names around the world. Dollars are popular in North America and Oceania. Pesos are popular in Latin America. Francs are common in Africa. Rupees in South Asia. And of course, euros in Europe. This map shows how many people would live on each continent if the world had the same population density as Monaco, the most densely populated country on Earth. Africa's population density is fascinating, with large pockets of people living near Lake Victoria, West Africa, and the Mediterranean coast. You can also clearly see the outline of the Nile River in Egypt and Sudan, and the blank void comprising the Sahara Desert. This is what the Netherlands looked like in 1300 versus what it looks like today. The Dutch are famous for their land reclamation efforts, and about 20% of the Netherlands is made up of reclaimed land. This map shows the average life expectancy across the U.S., with Southerners living notably shorter lives than the rest of the country. Since the 1960s, the European population across Africa has sharply declined, especially in places like South Africa. This map shows different sodas from across Europe. I personally tried Orangina from France, Irn-Bru from the UK, San Pellegrino from Italy, Fanta from Germany, and Kinney from Malta. Similarly, this map shows the most popular sodas in Europe, with Coca-Cola being the clear winner. Here you can see the locations of American nuclear weapons in Europe, with Germany, Turkey, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Italy all storing some. This map compares U.S. states to countries with similar GDP. For example, California is close to the UK, and Texas is close to Canada. This map shows the average life expectancy across Europe. As you can see, Western Europeans tend to live a little bit longer than Eastern Europeans do. This map now shows the GDP per capita across Europe, and as you can see, Northern and Western Europe also tend to be more wealthy than Eastern and Southern Europe. These maps show the most common types of immigrants in Germany and France. Germany gets a lot of Turkish and Vietnamese immigrants, while France gets a lot of Moroccans and Algerians. Spain also gets a lot of Moroccans as well as Romanians, while Portugal is dominated by Brazilian, and Italy is basically New Romania. Spanish is the second most spoken language in almost every single U.S. state. Australia is an absolutely massive country, being able to fit all of these countries with a little bit of extra room in between them. Here's another perspective to really hit it home. You can also fit the entire Mediterranean Sea intact in Australia. The same is also true for the